When I was younger, particularly referring to my high school years, I would get a lot of crushes. In fact, I had a crush on everyone in my year. Damn near everyone in my year. Any race, I don't discriminate. I'd have feelings for them, you know? This was probably from ages 11 to 16, collectively, right? Where it mostly happened. Yeah, man, I just saw these different types of women. I was like, damn, man, my standards were really low in terms of, getting me excited and whatnot, in terms of attraction, whatever you want to call it, crush, whatever you want to call it. And those standards were back then simply just have a pretty face. And, when you're a kid, you're not really thinking much yet. So I'd like to believe it was like that for the majority of us men back when we were kids, or at least I can only assume. Everyone's different, everyone has their own different tastes. And I am no exception to that. But in this case, I had a crush on a lot of people, damn near everyone in my year group. In fact, even back in my horny days when I was struggling with lust to a heavy extent, I'd masturbate a lot about these people. I'd close my eyes, fantasize, go on the toilet, be sneaky about it, get it off, not to justify it, but that's besides the point. The point implies I had a crush on many other people. Okay? As I grown older, really about, I say when I started to enter 17, 18 years old, I've noticed, naturally when you grow up, naturally you're gonna have a confidence booster. You're gonna be talking to a lot more women, a lot more vaster range of women. To those who may have been one who's scared of women back in the day, just to approach them, I understand the fear. It was most definitely there for me. As a grown older, you just mature. You don't really overthink as much as a man, and so you tend to speak to women a lot more frequently at least. Whether you're good at it or not doesn't really matter. Just the mere fact of you building the skill, building the competence of speaking to women, right? The opposite gender, the opposite sex, in particular, beautiful women, because it links to the whole concept of crushes and that love feeling, wherever we love it, however you want to name that shit. So that, as I've gotten older, I don't have crushes anymore. I've noticed there'd be times in college, back when I was still studying in college, my friends would tell me, Gordon, do you not have a celebrity crush anymore? Now, I was asked this question previously, and whether that be secondary school and whatnot. I said, no, not really when you think about it. I don't really have celebrity crushes anymore. I don't even get crushes on women anymore. I'm not asexual, not to say there's anything wrong with being asexual. I mean, if that's your preference, power to you and march on forward. But honestly, my standards have changed. Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like only 5, 8 years ago. Like I told you in the beginning of this video, my standards for finding a beautiful woman, being attracted to a woman, was just a pretty face. That's not to say I won't devalue. That's to say I wouldn't look over a beautiful woman. I still desire a beautiful woman. There's nothing wrong with that, and I have no shame saying that. The same way I'm sure women would desire a handsome man. Though not always the case. I think it's safe to say we want someone we're attracted to, and I'm no exception to that rule. However, I've realized that there are other factors into a woman too that you should be attracted to. Now, initially, I will go for looks. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You could be the nicest person on earth. If you don't really have the looks that makes me attracted, why would I really wanna spark something up with you? I'll still treat you equally, but in a love sense, no. That's just me. So there's that. In the beginning, the looks play a massive factor, and then you learn the character. At least that's how I roll. I don't get crushes anymore. I really don't. Why? Why do I need a celebrity crush? And this is pretty much what my response to those people back in my college days. God, I really not have a celebrity crush. I would tell them my former celebrity crushes, but not anymore. As in, I don't have crushes anymore. Because the way I see it, the world is a big place. 8 billion people. The chances of me seeing that celebrity are very thin. Very, very thin. And yes, social media is very influencing, if you will, right? And you plausibly have access to all of the beautiful women on the planet, right? Because they're posting themselves anywhere, everywhere, whether that be in a provocative sense or not. So you plausibly have access to that because with a snap of a finger, you can look at pictures of them. To me now, and I probably always knew this when I was younger, even when I was struggling with lust and horniness and whatnot, Well, yeah, you're just a beautiful woman. Well, you're a picture on the screen. From my perspective, you're a picture on the screen. Until further notice, until I meet you. It's just pixels on the screen, which just so happen to put all the colors in place. And this generation of screens, more modern, they do it in a way so it's not really, it can kind of cover up the whole pixel block back it was back in the day, and it frames the actual woman. It's weird, just like how you're looking at me now. I probably don't know you. I am a real person, but I'm just a pixel on the screen to you. But I'm a real person also. But from your perspective, pixel on the screen, but the pixels have improved so much, you don't even realize the pixels unless you have let's say Hawkeye vision to be able to notice. But yeah, I don't have crushes anymore, and it doesn't really bother me. And I worked in sales jobs last year, right? So I did event sales. So I was out in the public eye, cold approaching people to sell a product to them. I believe it was a food product, right? And I spoke to a lot of beautiful women, man. One good thing about being in a big city. I live in London, right, England. One good thing about being in a big city, I believe, in terms of women, it gives you an abundance mindset attractiveness, abundance mindset in terms of your approach to just going about of things. Back when I didn't have much confidence in myself, I'd often see a woman and I'd obsessed over that woman. Oh, she's so beautiful. There's never gonna be another woman like her. Those situations happen hundreds of times because there's hundreds of beautiful women. Oh, let's be literal. Well, not too literal, but close enough. We're nearly a megacity. Well, at least my country is nearly a megacity. 9 million people live in my city. Well, we're very close to hitting 10 million. Right, London. And in my country, hey, I have about 64 million. Well, 60 million roughly. So it gives you an abundance mindset, and it's good to know. It's good for your brain. And people in villages, I'd imagine they don't know that. So me, for instance, I got family overseas, and their population naturally is going to be a lot smaller. So imagine in terms of mentality, they're not going to really think as much in terms of options women the way you do, right? And that's natural because they don't have as much people. Guys, if you saw me gasp, I was a bit scared shitless because I saw an old man. I was like, fuck. You have to remember, guys, it's dark in the morning. I know this is off topic, but guys, it's dark as fuck in the morning. Couldn't see shit. So I gasped a bit. I was like, go on, continue push. You got this. You're a big, strong guy. 191 pounds. You really know what's there to be scared of, It's safe in England, so I shouldn't really have to worry. Not that I have any bad associations or anything like that, so I really shouldn't have to worry. And I do value my speed. I can outrun pretty much most of the population, so I shouldn't really have to be scared that much. That's besides the point. Yeah. So it gives you that abundance mentality. It helps you. And I actually think it's a lot more healthier. So in a way, I do kind of feel for people who are living in small cities and, maybe even middle-sized cities, because I guess in that aspect, it kind of limits your mindset. Maybe that's why they have this more so, what do I call it? They have more so a limited mindset when it comes to women and whatnot. I've got that abundance mindset. And when I was working in those sales jobs, you have the opportunity to speak to a vast range of women because there's a lot of women everywhere. And I took advantage of that. I spoke to so many pretty faces, and I was working there for like 8 hours a day, just cold approaching people. That was the job. You're literally outside in the public eye. Commonly, placed in central areas, the central parts of London, right? Particularly train stations, the Eurostar ones, the ones that take you to different cities and whatnot, those train stations. So naturally, a lot of people, it's going to pull a lot of attraction. And just population, really. Beautiful women came along with that. And guys, I'm telling you, I saw so many pretty faces in one day. It was unbelievable. When I spoke to so many pretty faces, it's all just reps, guys. Don't overcomplicate this shit. It's all just reps. The more you speak to, it's going to train that mental muscle in your brain. You just get used to it. And working in that job, despite me not liking it for the most part, I would not be lying if I told you it did not train my mind, because it really did. And I made a video about that. I think it was sometime early this year. May have been titled "Working in Sales Killed My Fear of Women," and it really did. It killed it for the better, and I'm proud of that. Great stuff. Because now, I have this abundance mentality, And until I actually really, really get to know you, you're really just another pretty face to me. I mean, how can I look at you anymore if I don't know who you actually are? I think it's a healthy mentality to have. No, I know it is. So I don't feel bad saying it. And that's how I operate now. And perhaps in the way that that has made me a better person. And I think it's just a phase of growing up. I believe most of the time, and I'd even go as far to argue, it's often teenagers and children that get the whole crush dynamic situation, whatnot. As I grow older, entering my 20s in a little over 6 months, right? It's like, yeah, I can't just have a crush on anyone just because they look good, because I see beautiful faces damn near every day. So it's more than that. But it's funny because you need the attraction, the pretty face in the beginning. After that, which I do value, the pretty face, not brushing that off, then I look at your heart. And if you have the combination of both, woo, you won. You know? So I don't get crushes anymore. I believe it's made me a better person. And perhaps that's me really finding out more of what love is about. In a way, I guess so. Because there'd be times I'd get flirted, and I don't say this to boast, but I'm just an honest person, right? There'd be times I'd get really pretty women flirting with me, right? Back in high school days and whatnot. Maybe we even worked sometimes back when I was working last year. That sales rep, because there was a lot of women working there too. Subtle signs of attraction from the other opposite sex. And obviously my brain, I'm not denying that your face is pretty. I'm sure you have great energy too. But I can't just have a crush on anyone just because of your face. I mean, watch how this approach to go about things. And let's say you were to meet someone, you found a feature for that you're just not okay with, you break up. Your friends will tell you, your family, oh, she's really pretty, why don't you go for her, Golden? Why don't you go for her? I didn't like that feature. Funny thing is, that makes me a better person because I have principles and values. And it's actually more helpful for the kids when they grow up. Because when people do operate in just a physical perspective, which I'm not telling you to devalue, you need a combination of both, I believe, plays a massive factor in just the attraction, and you really know that person at a deeper level, just makes things a whole lot easier. But when you only pursue one, the attraction surface level, and I'm sure it's going to break eventually. Divorce happens. Co-parenting, which I fucking hate, messes up the kids. You have no masculine feminine dynamic. Most of the time, it's the mum that takes the kids. Then she has to carry on both roles, masculine and femininity, which isn't good. To have a 50-50 balance when you're the one gender, maybe have like a 90% and 10% conversion rate, something along the lines of that. And naturally, in a nuclear family, children are going to be raised better. So I don't have crushes anymore. I don't. I speak to many beautiful women. I see many beautiful women. It's not hard to do. It really isn't. It's just when you have so much fear in your mind, you'll tell yourself that. You know it's not true. Anyone can do it. But, you know, when you speak to so many pretty faces, that sexual libido, the libido's still there, but that extreme personified, oh, she's hot, doesn't control me anymore. That's how I have sexual discipline. Doesn't bother me anymore. And I tested this. I would type it. It's even yesterday, right? I typed in hot tits on the internet. I know it's bad, I know, but I was testing my mind, right? Back in the day, I see that I'm stroking my shit after that, man. Bro, I was a monster back in the day, believe me, as a early teenage years. Ah, man. But yeah, I'm stroking goon into that. Back in the day. And I did the experiment now. Went on Google, typed the same thing, I typed in hot tits, or different races, or something along the lines of that. Obviously, turn on incognito while I did it, because I don't want that on my feed. And I'm not like that anymore. I don't identify as someone who watches that type of stuff anymore. And I was looking at pictures of them on YouTube Shorts. They were pretty. I'm not denying their body was nice. Like I was looking, I was impressed. But I noticed my brain's rewiring in a good way. I didn't get turned on by it, and I didn't even feel bad. Not bad in the sense of like you watch it so much to the point it's a norm. Because I did go through that phase before. But you're just in this middle ground. You're not really wavered by it anymore, right? And I can only thank God to that, because yeah, I struggled with that a lot back in the day. And so yeah, I was looking at all these hot chicks on the internet. Yeah, your body's nice, man. I'm not denying you have a pretty face. Yeah, I'd probably date you, probably. Not get with you because you're posting stuff on the internet, but probably just I wouldn't say one night stand because I'm against you know, sex before marriage. I'm against that. Probably just talk to you for one day, date, alright, cool, bye. Wouldn't spark anything, relationship. Right? But you're pretty, bro. Good company, yeah, okay, maybe fair enough. But in terms of long term, no, for you to send your body into that, nah, I don't want. And I'm proud of that. How my brain reacted and how I did respond. I didn't masturbate, I didn't even feel the urge to masturbate because really, for you to be posting yourself on the internet, you really are probably a broken woman, unfortunately, due to your circumstances, and they never healed and they didn't get the love from their mum and dad, and they feel the need to post their bodies on the internet. That's something I didn't think about, even have conceivable in my mind back in the day. It's just, oh, you have nice boobs, ass, vagina, tits, raised, I'm gonna jack the shit out off to you. But I grew up now, and so when I did look, yeah, you're pretty, you're nice to look, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like, yeah, but the high quality godly women are they're not posting themselves like that on the internet, don't they? And they still wear beautiful clothes, and you can still tell that they probably do have the body underneath, but in a sophisticated way, in the sense of they're wearing modest clothing. And you can still do that, guys. You can still be attractive without sexualizing yourself. I want you guys to know that. I think I've reached this very mature phase now. I don't get crushes on women anymore. I've spoken to many, maybe that played effect. Just reps. And that's in any skill. Do enough reps is a norm, right? So I spoke to many beautiful women, especially in that sales job. So it really gave me that mental muscle in my approach to women. And just the sense of not pedestalizing them for their beauty. I see the heart now. You know? That's how I see things. I believe it's a healthy mindset to have. It's made talking to women easier. Most definitely made me a better person because I don't just look at the beauty aspect of things now. I actually speak to them like a normal person. If you do some bullshit, I'll call you out the same way I get called out, and the same way it should be, right? Because it's more than just physical looks. Most people don't know that. Very prevalent in sports, rappers. But let's talk about sports athletes in the NBA. All this sexual discipline, all this money, young, dumb, and full of cum. Older person comes in to the scene, flaunts her beauty, sex appeal, lures you in. You know, now, unwanted child, divorce, cycle repeats in terms of lack of nuclear families. So, yeah, I don't have crushes anymore. Those are my reasons why.